good. There's somebody there. Hello. I didn't really make it, did I? I'm about 30 seconds late. I teach at Middleton, an assisted living facility on Wednesdays, and I just had a little trouble getting home today in time. So welcome to some lunchtime yoga. There's the dog. She's feeling a little frisky today. Who knows what'll happen? Let's sit in a comfortable upright seat. I have a blanket underneath me, and you can see it's not very tall. I could bring another blanket or 2 or 3 underneath me if I needed to. Scooting towards the front edge of the blanket, I let my sit bones, those bony places under you, kind of roll over the edge. They don't really come to the mat, they just tip over the edge. And with that tip, it tips my pelvis forward, and now I have a nice inner curve of the lumbar spine. And that's the way that part of the spine is supposed to be. So sitting nice and tall, reaching up through the crown of the head. Let's take about 3 or 4 cleansing breaths. So in through the nose, big deep breath. Open the mouth and we'll do 4 more. Inhale. Three more. The last one. And allow the breath to return to its natural state. I'd like to teach you a breath pattern today called Ujjayi breath. It's a breath that we use as we move through our yoga practice. Eventually, it just becomes second nature. And it's a way to always have a little sound of the breath. I told you she's feeling frisky today. Miley, come over here and lay down. Come here, sit. Get over here, sit down, sit, 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 lay down. Now stay. So Ujjayi breath, you make a little sound in the back of the throat. Some people call it Darth Vader breath. It sounds like that in a way, but Darth Vader, it's too loud. It's just a very subtle sound back there in back of the throat. There's a little, you create a little constriction in the back of the throat. It's easy to learn. Inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, open your mouth and make the sound of like you're trying to fog up a mirror. Inhale through the nose again. Exhale. Now I'm making it kind of loud so you can hear me. It doesn't have to be that loud. Inhale again. Let's do 3 more like that. And start to become familiar with the way you're holding your throat with the mouth open. Now the next time you do this, start with the mouth open and then close it to keep that sound back there. Keep breathing, listening for that sound on the exhale. You keep breathing in that way. You can also add it to the inhale. Keep going. That gentle downward pressure, that back pressure into the lungs, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the calming nervous system. And that sound, you'll become used to hearing as you become more and more advanced in your yoga practice, or even if you don't become advanced and we just stay with beginner moves, that breath, you'll notice when it's absent. And that usually means that you're doing something that's just not right for you. And you need to modify in some way. The breath is your best teacher. If you find that you're holding your breath, or the breath becomes very catchy, not smooth, or if you're practicing ujjayi, you miss that sound, something's changed. So I'll remind you as we go along today to add some ujjayi. If it's new to you, it's easy to just kind of let it go, but I'll try to coach you into bringing it into practice today. So let's bring our hands to heart. We'll start with circle of joy. Inhale. Exhale that ujjayi sound. Round the back, reach forward with the palms. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, ujjayi breath. Bring hands back home to the heart. Let's do 4 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. 3 more. Two more. Last one. And hands back home to the heart. On an inhale, reach out. Exhale, twist to the right. Both arms come down. Inhale, face forward, look up at the hands. And on an exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, face forward, look up. Exhale, that ujjayi sound, twist. Keep going. Let's do 1 more twist on each side. Last one, look up. Hands together, look at the thumbs and bring the hands home to the heart. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, drop the right arm down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, up. Exhale, left arm down. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Let your breath dictate your pace, so don't rush. Nice slow flow. Combining the movements with your breath also relaxes the nervous system. So that means you're lowering the stress hormones in your body. And stress hormones cause inflammation, and inflammation causes everything. Heart disease, all kinds of stuff. Alzheimer's, dementia. Let's do 1 more each side. Adding that ujjayi on the exhale. Inhale, reach the arms up. Look up there as you bring hands together. Anjali Mudra. Exhale, draw the hands home to the heart. And pause here. Take the hands back to the lap. Become the witness. Notice how you're feeling. Notice physical sensations. And maybe you notice energetic sensations. Hopefully just this brief amount of ujjayi and combining our movement with breath, you can feel that calmer yin kind of energy. Let's come over the knees and meet in table. If you have some props underneath you, you'll need to move them, toss them off to the side. Tabletop. Knees are under hips and wrists are under shoulders. Spread the fingers wide. Push into the hands. Arms grow long. Hips circles. Start to move around. Feeling the knees as kind of the point that you're pivoting the hips around. And then broaden your awareness. They call these hip circles, but this is bringing movement to lots of different joints in the body and the extremities. And go the other way. 2 more. And last one. Bring your big toes together, walking the knees wide. Set your hips back and down. And for this first wide child's pose, cross the forearms, cross the hands, and bring the forehead down. And as you exhale, some more of those cleansing breaths. So we'll take 4. Big, deep inhale. And then loud exhale. Open the mouth. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Every time you exhale, feel like a puddle. You're melting. Now reach long with your arms and press down into the fingertips. So you lift the chest, keep the ears between your upper arms. Now that you're lifted, and you're not lifted much, we're going to bring the palms to the earth. This is called threading the needle. We're going to thread the needle from a wide child's pose. Take your left arm out and then reach under your right. Crawl your fingers across the floor, bringing yourself into a twist, stacking your shoulders, bringing your head down and your shoulder down, sending your hips back. Now you can take the right hand and reach behind you, turning the palm away from you, bringing the back of the hand to your low back. Push the hand into the back and lift that top shoulder. Try to stack the shoulders, coming a little deeper into the twist. And breathe into the left ribs. Now reach long with the right arm again. Unwind and reach out before you reach forward and down. Right arm behind the left, crawl the fingers. Otherwise, you don't really get a nice twist. So crawl the fingers. You're trying to twist and stack those shoulders. Then come down. Side of the head comes down. Now take the left hand behind you. Back of the hand goes to the sacrum, the low back. Push into the back so you open the left shoulder. And breathe. Now you're going to breathe into the right ribs. And unwind, bring the left arm forward, plant it, unwind the right arm, reach out before you come forward. Now the knees are wide, bring your forearms down and the heart comes down, and I'm going to skim forward. So I'm shifting forward. We're going to come to the belly. So the heart comes down and then you can extend the legs long. Slide your hands by your armpits. Bring the legs so they're hip distance apart. Push the tops of your feet down onto the mat. Curl your pubic bone towards your low ribs and your low ribs towards your pubic bone. Draw your navel back. As you inhale, lift the heart and the head will follow. Baby cobra, a little bitty back bend. Exhale down. Let's do 4 more. Inhale. And exhale. My low ribs are staying on the mat. So it's just upper chest comes up. Add that ujjayi. 2 more. And exhale, come down. Press into table again. Lift back to all fours. Hands and knees. I'll come into bird dog. I want you to reach back first with your right foot and bring the ball of the foot to the mat. So maybe I should turn so you can see me. Right foot back. I'm sticking the ball of the foot down. Push into the hands so you don't let your chest collapse into the shoulders. Push into the hands. Then push back. Reach through the heel. Nice stretch in your calf muscles. To engage the core, lift your left shin, your left knee, and maybe your left foot, but it's really not much of a lift. So you engage the core. If you lift too high, it becomes work of your back, and I don't want that. I want your core to engage. You should feel a corseting effect around your abdomen. And then back down. We'll do second side, then we'll do bird dog. Right, left leg back. Come on to the ball of the foot, push back. Nice stretch. And then lift the right knee, right shin, and maybe right foot. Feel the hip points in the front, drawing towards each other. Draw your navel back. Now when you breathe, it's into your ribs. And exhale, drop down. Sit back on your heels just briefly, and we'll move the fingers, circle the wrists, shake those arms out. Back to table. Now bird dog. So we're reaching back with the right leg again, but from the height of the hip. I'm going to kick the table. I better go this way. Reaching back. Reach through the heel. Try to keep your hips square to the mat, so don't let the hip lift. Now reach out with the left arm. Thumb is up. This is called bird dog. And to add a little balance challenge, I want you to lift your left foot and your left shin. So now you're balancing on your left knee and your right hand, and it's a wobbly one. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm really wobbling. And then back to table. And we'll take the second side. Reach back with the left leg right from hip height, and you're not stacking the hips. Reach out with the right hand, thumb up. Push into the left hand, and then see if you can lift the right foot and the right shin. And then be ready to wobble. And then exhale, finding table again. Maybe I'll stay this way. I'm going to lift up into downward facing dog. So tucking my toes, curling the tailbone up, belly drops. Let the hips come back. And then lift the sit bones right up towards the place on your wall where the ceiling meets the top of the wall. Now pedal here. This is our first down dog. Downward facing dog is such a nice place to find some really good stretches. You can wiggle and float around. Now plant your feet hip distance apart. Look back there. Bend your knees a lot. Lay your belly on your thighs, maybe even your low ribs on your thighs. You can stay here. Or as you inhale, send those sit bones straight up towards the sky. Reach the heels down. The feet never have to be flat. If that works in your body to bring the feet flat, go right ahead. Mine don't quite make it. Ears are between upper arms. Fingers are spread wide. And I'm pressing into the base of the index finger and base of the thumb. Gripping the mat with the pads of my fingers. That helps the wrists. Let's take 3 more breaths, adding that ujjayi sound, that soft sound. Now drop your chin to your chest, and we're going to ripple forward until your shoulders are over your wrists. I'm going to walk my feet back a little bit. I'm coming into plank. My hips are lower than my shoulders. Now I'm dropping my knees. My knees are behind my hips now. So on table, they're under the hips. Now my knees are behind my hips. Sitting back onto my heels. Let the arms reach out there. Now as I inhale, I'm going to tuck my chin, rounding my spine, reaching forward with my spine. It's a nice stretch in the spine. Shoulders come over the wrists. And I'm going to drop my pelvis. And I'm going to lower my pelvis clear down. As I lower my pelvis, I bend my knees and bring my toes up towards the back of my head. And then go back to child's. Ripple forward through a kneeling plank, and hips come right down towards the mat. This is modified upward facing dog. Bring the toes up towards the head and back. Let's do 3 more. You can always rest in child's pose. Can you hear the ujjayi sound? One more. And now come back into child's pose with the knees hip distance apart. See if you can bring your forehead to the mat. If not, feel free to stack your hands to rest your forehead. If you can bring the forehead to the mat, send those arms back by the shins. Now the backs of my hands are on the floor, and as I exhale, the shoulders can just fall. Another resting pose. 3 more breaths. Now reach forward and press back into table. I'm going to turn, sit down, sit, 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 sit. You lay down back there, sit, 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 lay down. Tuck your toes, lift up into downward facing dog. And we'll bring the gaze between the hands and walk to the top of the mat. So this is a little awkward, but you're going to give it your best shot. Walking your way to the top of the mat. Plant your feet under your hips. Bend your knees a lot. Lay your belly on your thighs. Grab opposite elbows. Hang. Shake your head, yes. And shake your head, no. Releasing the neck. Now pull your feet away from each other. Swing your arms out and up and come to a standing position, reaching overhead. Bring the hands together. Exhale, bring the hands home to the heart. And find mountain pose. Feet are under hips. All your joints are stacked. Sway here. Eyes can be opened or closed. Feel the feet, all 4 corners of the feet. And then come to balance without looking. Feel your shins. See if you can feel the length of the shin bones. And then feel the shins balanced over the ankles. Let's do a little balance while we're up here. We'll shift our weight to the right leg. Lift the left knee and take it in your hand. Bring your right arm out and find a place to gaze. That's called drishti. Some place that isn't moving. Find your breath. Listen for the ujjayi sound. Now open your knee to the left and take your gaze to the right. Focus on your breath. And face forward. Now release the knee, but we're going to cross the legs, sealing all the way down the thighs to the knee. Bring the little toe edges of the feet next to each other. The left heel is probably going to be lifted off the mat. Keep a little bend in both knees, and we'll fold forward here. Bring the fingertips down to the floor. Now walk your fingers to the right corner of your mat. Send your hips to the left and back, to the back of the mat. Breathe. Walk the fingertips forward. Uncross the legs, plant the feet under the hips again. Pull the feet away from each other, swing your arms out and up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. Find mountain pose. And move on to the second side, balancing on the left. Lift the right knee, hang on to it. Left arm out. Feel the wobbliness in the left ankle. Those are stabilizer muscles. That's a good thing. Let them work. Let them practice. Now open your right knee to the right and take your gaze to the left. Listen for the ujjayi sound. Now bring the knee forward, bring the gaze forward, and we'll cross. Try to seal the inner thighs as much as you can to the knee. Now the right heel is lifted, but the pinky toe edges of the feet are facing each other. Now folding forward at the hips, slowly come down. Fingertips come to the floor. Walk your fingers to the left and send your hips to the right and back. And breathe. And walk the fingertips forward. Uncross the feet. Feet are hip distance. Bend your knees a lot. Pull your feet away from each other. Swing your arms out and up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. Let's do a little sun breath here. Inhale up. Ujjayi, exhale, fold forward. Lifting halfway up on your inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Pull the feet away from each other. Inhale your arms out and up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. Let's do a few standing poses today. We've got some time. Taking your hands to your hips. I want you to step back with your left leg. I'm on the ball of my foot back there. I'm going to drop that heel inward. The toes are outward, so a little like a 45-degree angle. Now the sole of my foot can come to rest on the mat. So as opposed to being on the ball of the foot, which is a lunge position, I'm dropping that foot inward. So there's a tiny external rotation of that back leg. With hands to hips, I want you to draw the front hip, which is your right hip. Just wrap the right or the left hip forward. Just a little adjustment of the hip. Now bend into your right knee. Look down there at the knee. Make sure the knee is over the ankle, tracking right down the center of the foot. So it's not out to the side or towards the midline. That's not good for the knee. You should be able to see your toes. Bring your hands to heart. This is warrior one. Virabhadrasana 1. Keep your shoulders stacked over your hips. Take about 3 breaths here. And take your hands to your hips again. Straighten that front leg. Come on to the ball of the foot in the back. Keep both legs straight. This is a little more difficult to balance. This is called pyramid pose. You can bring your arms wide if you need to. I'm watching myself on the computer, so it's a little harder to balance. I'm going to fold forward over my hip crease. Hands can walk down the shin. I should feel a nice stretch in the back of that right leg. If this is just too much to balance, you can bring that back foot back into a warrior one position. So drop the heel inward. Now pull the feet away from each other without letting them move and rise back up. Step forward, mountain pose. Sun breath, inhale up and exhale, fold. Lift halfway. Fold. Pull the feet away from each other. Swing your arms out and up. Exhale the hands home to the heart. Hands to hips again. Step back with the other leg, right leg, I believe. First, we're on the ball of the foot. Now drop the heel inward, 45-degree angle-ish to that back foot. With your hands on your hips, draw your left hip back and let your right hip wrap forward. Reaching to the pinky toe edge of the back foot will help the knee. Now bend into the left knee, keeping the shoulders stacked over the hips. Bring your hands to heart. Warrior one. 3 more breaths. Now straighten the front leg. Come on to the ball of the right foot. Bring your arms wide to begin with to find some balance. Fold forward at the hip. And bring your hands to your thigh. Walk your way down. Pyramid. Again, you can drop that back heel inward. And breathe. Pull the feet away from each other as you come back up. Step forward. Sun breath. Inhale up. Exhale, fold. Lift halfway. And exhale, fold. Pull the feet away from each other. Swing your arms out and up. And exhale the hands home to the heart. Now I'm going to change my orientation to you. So I'm going to stand here. You can stay just like you are. I want you to step back with your right foot, way back there, and then turn to your right. So I've got a nice wide stance. And if I extend my arms out long, or my shoulders, my wrists are roughly over my ankles. Take your hands to your hips. Now look down at the feet. Move the feet so the pinky edge of your foot is parallel to the short edges of your mat. This is called Prasarada. Take the hands to the low back. My fingers are pointing down. The heel of my hands are right at the top of my pelvis. I'm drawing my elbows back so I get a nice lift and opening through the front chest. Now look up, take a little back bend here. And then as you exhale, we're going to fold forward at the hips, bringing the fingertips to the floor and the wrists under the shoulders. Reach to the crown of the head and the hips back. Take a couple breaths here. Think long spine. Think about making the spine nice and long. So you have to reach in 2 directions. Now bend your knees some and walk your fingertips back. See if you can come in line with the feet. You can bend your knees a lot if you need to. Let your fingers spread and point forward, just like we're in table or we're in plank or we're in downward facing dog. The inside of your elbows lined up kind of over your thumb. And as you bend your elbows to come even deeper into this, the elbows point underneath you. Let your head hang. Once you establish some stability, maybe you can straighten the legs a bit. Feel that nice stretch in the hamstrings. If you feel a strain in the low back, soften the knees a little. 2 more breaths. Now walk your fingertips forward. Wrists are under shoulders again. Long spine. Send those hips back and send the crown of the head forward. Now bend your knees quite a bit. As you exhale, bring your hands to your thighs. Pull your feet strongly away from each other as you inhale, rise up, coming back up into Prasarada. Inhale your arms overhead. And exhale the hands home to the heart. Now moving from Prasarada to Goddess. So I'm going to come onto the ball of my right foot, bring the heel inward. Ball of my left foot, bring the heel inward. Now my toes point out. I'm going to squat into this, down into the hips. Knees are over ankles, and my knees are tracking right down the center of my feet. Really open the knees. Bring your hands to heart touch the elbows and bring the hands together in Anjali Mudra so they're really more level with your head. As you inhale, open. This is Goddess. As you exhale, close. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open and hold. Maybe you look up. Maybe you lift your heart and breathe. Feel those thighs burn. 2 more breaths. Ujjayi. Look forward on your next inhale. Straighten the legs, straighten the arms. Star. Exhale, Goddess. Maybe lower. Inhale, star. Exhale, Goddess. Maybe lower. Inhale, star. And we'll do one more. Exhale, Goddess. And inhale, star. Hands to hips. Heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Come to the top of your mat. So I'm going to come back up here. On an inhale, swing your arms up. And as you exhale, fold. Lift halfway on an inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back with the right leg. Step back with the left leg. And find table. Cross your ankles behind you and sit back over the ankles. Back to Sukhasana. We won't stay there long. Extend the legs wide. So the Prasarada stance that we just did on the mat with the legs wide, pinky toe edges square with the mat, this is a seated form of this, Upavista Konasana. Sitting tall. Dig your heels into the mat and pull them towards you. You'll lift the knees a little and you'll feel the pelvis tilt forward. Feel free to bend your knees more if you need to maintain the spine. Or you can bring some blocks or blanket under the knees. You can stay here, or maybe you fall forward at the hips, keeping the spine neutral. You'll feel this in the inner thigh. Now glue your hands to the mat and pull on the mat. Feel that, tip the pelvis forward. Keep that, and maybe you fold a little deeper. So you're maintaining the inward curve of the lumbar spine. I'll take 3 more breaths here. Ujjayi. And on an inhale, we'll rise up. Take your hands behind you. Walk your legs forward. This is Dandasana, staff pose. Come up onto your sit bones. If you need to bend your knees here, that's fine too. Make sure the spine is nice and neutral. As you exhale, fold at the hips. I'm going to fold a little bit. I have my knees lifted. I have tight hamstrings. And then after I fold, I'm going to work to straighten the legs a little bit. And then maybe I can fold a little deeper, maybe not. And work to straighten the legs a little bit. And then when I say a little, it's like a millimeter. Inhale, lift a bit. Exhale, fold a little deeper. And maybe you'll work your way to straight legs, or maybe just lifted knees. That's okay too. Stretching the hamstrings. Now inhale, rise up. And we'll do one more seated pose. We're going to bend the right leg. Pull the right foot way up close to your bottom. And you can even reach behind you and shift your hips towards the heel. And then sitting tall, like you want to stand on the right foot. Wrap your left elbow around your right knee. You can bring the forearms in a stacking shape. Let the left leg reach forward and the right hip reach back a little bit. Or you can take the right hand behind you, push down, and turn looking over the right shoulder. Spine is long, thigh is tight to the belly. Breath is still deep into the belly. And then face forward. Drop the knee open like the page of a book. Bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of the left thigh, or you can tuck the foot under the thigh. I like to do that for two reasons. It lifts my knee and supports my knee. My hamstrings are tight. That helps me. Plus, I get a nice stretch in the top of my foot. Sitting tall on an inhale. As I exhale, with this foot flexed, I'm going to fall forward, and it's a little bit of a twist. So I'm letting my heart reach towards the second two toes. So not the big toe, the second two toes, right down the center of the foot. You can cross your wrists, and wherever your hands land, use that to grip and pull. And breathe. Janu Shirshasana. And inhale, rise up. Unwind, reach behind your legs long, wiggle the legs. Sit tall, left leg, bend it. Pull the heel close, reach behind you, shift the hips. And pretend you want to stand on this foot. Now wrap the elbow. You can keep the arms stacked or take the hand behind you. And if you push down, it helps you to neutralize the spine. And then look over the left shoulder. Breathe. Notice how the right leg wants to reach forward, let that happen. Left hip wants to pull back a bit, let that happen. And facing forward, drop the knee out. Foot here or tucked. Sit tall and fold any amount. Cross the wrists, and wherever the hands are, you can pull a little bit. And then inhale, rise up. I'm going to turn again. I want you to make sure you have enough room behind you and come down onto your back. Keep the knees bent and bring the arms out so the backs of the hands are on the floor. Knees are hip distance apart. Feet hip distance apart. Take a couple breaths here and feel the spine. As you inhale, lift the low back a bit. And as you exhale, push the low back down into the mat. So a little pelvic tilting. Inhale, lift. And exhale, push the low back down into the mat. This pelvic tilting in this position, in a seated position, in a standing position, anytime, this is really good for low back health. We'll take one or two more each direction. And then coming back to neutral, draw the knees into the chest now. And take the knees in the hands. Slide the knees wide. Slide your hands down your shins. And lift the feet. So you pull the knees down towards the earth by pulling on your shins, keeping your feet flexed like you're trying to step up onto the ceiling. If you have the space to reach down to the inside of the foot, wrap the fingers across the sole of the foot and pull. You can also place your hands underneath your knees, backs of the thighs. Happy baby, so a nice deep stretch in the hips, and then feel free to gently rock from side to side. And straighten the legs and bend the legs. And rocking yourself into a little relaxation. Coming to stillness, take that last nice stretch and happy baby. And then release the legs into a shape that you would like to spend a moment or two in. Or relaxation. Long on the mat with the legs wide is corpse pose. Bending the knees, feet wide, left and right edges of the mat with the knees touching, constructive rest pose. There's other options. Just find a way that you can release. And at this point, let go of the Ujjayi breath. Allow the breath to be in its natural state. But stay tuned into those sensations, the sounds. the turbulence of the breath in the nostrils, the gentle rise and fall of the chest and maybe even the belly. Resting here for a few moments of stillness. Begin to deepen your breath now. And start moving the body in small ways and allowing those little movements to get bigger and spread into other parts of the body. And take a nice reach overhead as you inhale, stretching long. Good morning stretch. And exhale, draw the knees to the chest again, Apanasana. And just like we did in Happy Baby, feel free to rock here slowly across the low back from elbow to elbow. Rolling onto your right side, resting your head on your arm. And we invite you to roll onto the right side because of a couple of things. Your heart's on the left, so it's a little less constricting for the heart if you lay on the right. And this also stimulates the vagal nerve a little deeper, so that's the relaxation response in the body. I'm on my left side right now because I mirror you, but really right side is best for those reasons. I'm going to reach long with my top leg, turn, push my hands down into the floor and come back up to a seated position, mustering as little effort as possible to bring myself back up here. Take a couple nice breaths. Take a moment to wander through the body with the mind. Wander through your energetic field with the mind. Maybe even with the heart. Just feel with the heart. What are you noticing? Hopefully good things. As you inhale, reach up. Bring your hands together, exhaling your hands home to the heart. Thank you for joining me for this lunchtime yoga class. May you have peaceful thoughts, peaceful words, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful world. Namaste.